And welcome back, everybody, to the UMG Champions Apex Legends Arena $10,000 Invitational. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, of course, joined by Onset and Gaskin. They're back for a loser's final matchup. Winner will obviously move forward to tomorrow. Loser will be having an earlier exit that I'm sure they were wanting. That was an exciting map 5 that we just witnessed. Obviously, Rain Day and Girl break down. Onset, it was pretty incredible. Torrent looking strong.
Yeah, Torrent looking really good. This was the first opportunity we've seen to have. We've had to see them play with Noct as well. He came in for Hill. Those three players, like I mentioned previously, have been playing together for so long. They had a lot of success, but they kind of hit this stagnant point, and they hadn't been performing in ALGS at all. Like they're right down at the bottom, which is something I don't think anyone expected. But seeing the impact that Noct has had, even in an arenas tournament, and don't get me wrong, completely different game. There was a couple of times where he would single a player out, and there was a call made by someone, whether it's RKN, their IGL, or if it was Noct having the input, to solo that player out. They did it so many times, especially in that map 5. And I think he's been a great addition. Plus, he clutched up in that 1v1. That's what you want from a new player, right?
Yeah, I mean, Gaskin talked about being soloed out. Dimi, he's going to have a large burden to kind of come back from that beatdown. I mean, I say beatdown, he definitely had some crazy plays. The nade, by the way, was incredible from him, and I think that was on map number 4. Phase Runner kind of solidified that rounds, and I believe that ended up being 3-0. But regardless, though, Dimi was definitely getting soloed out.
Yeah, but I think that is sometimes the risk you play as a kind of more explorative person, as it were. You need someone on the team who is going to be looking to try and make ground, looking to try and spot people out. Sometimes you can be the one flanking and you can catch other people off guard, but it just didn't seem to work out on that occasion. I think that's okay. I think it's kind of just tried and tested and see what happens. I think they'll bounce back.
Well, things are moving along for Alpha and Bravo. Let's take a look at A, the group currently still underway. And right now we're going to be looking at Ghost Gaming and XSET. No surprise there, I got to be honest with you, on set. Ghost Gaming, an outlier that has been performing well in arenas. Now, Esports Arena, though, looking very strong, getting a 3-1 victory over Ghost. So I'm looking at a couple of teams that are definitely favored heading into playoffs. But what do you think about that qualification match that's still to come?
It's going to be an interesting one for sure. Ghost Gaming fall to Esports Arena. When anyone tells me that Esports Arena have lost anything, I will now be surprised because they've been playing that well. So for Ghost Gaming, I'm not surprised to see them down in the qualification match, having to go up against XSET. But XSET bouncing back, 3-1 win over Dumpers. They're going to find a little bit of rhythm as well. We have to kind of remind everyone who might be joining for the first time. There's a couple of players joining them as subs, so the chemistry's not going to quite be there. All that kind of good stuff that everyone knows about. So they've had a couple of rounds now. They've had a couple of games. They should be finding some sort of rhythm now. But Ghost Gaming, they're going to have to get those first rounds on the board, especially map 1. I think will be a bit important for them to get on the board against XSET.
Well, Gaskin, we're moving into Group B now. We'll have a chance to peek in on Arena Demons and Renegades. That's going to be the show match that we're going to be focused on. Qualification match, a big one for Arena Demons and Renegades specifically. Let's look at that loser bracket win, though, Renegades had over DAB. How impactful is that for you, and does it favor them heading into this, obviously, loser bracket qualification match?
I think it's always nice to come off the back of a nice 3-0 slappage. It's always going to give you confidence, especially after they went down to that lower bracket, getting slapped themselves by Torrent in a 3-0 fashion. So I think if you look at the results and how they played out, both teams now are going to be in a position where they think they can win this game, but it's going to come down to those clutch moments, those 1v1s. Who's going to win it when it is those, like, you know, that situation where you have to hit your shots, because sometimes when you're reloading and you're panicking and you're switching weapons, we've seen just a few errors happen already in today's show, and I need to see people tighten up a little bit, because otherwise you'd be dropping out of the tournament.
That's a fact. And Onset, again, one team is going to be going home after that. Well, they're probably already home. Let's not kid ourselves, unless they're playing at a local Starbucks or something. But regardless, though, they are going to be finished for today. And I know they don't want to be done that early. Let's take a look at our maps. Obviously, we don't have a big map pool, so we're going to be seeing the same maps time in and time out. Encore is a bit of a concern for me, though, right off the rip, being map number 5. We see a 3-0 loss that Torrent was able to give to Arena Demons. And Arena Demons not too fond of that map in general. So if it does go to map 5, Renegades might have a distinct advantage.
Yeah, getting to map 5 is going to be, I think, the aim for Renegades, though. Then you can throw that question at Arena Demons. You can say, hey, we know that you've got a lot of experience on these other maps. We've managed to force you all the way down to a game 5 where you don't have as much experience on Encore. Show us what you got, because we're kind of on a level playing field, so to speak. So it's going to be interesting if it does go that far. But as I say, Renegades have to get there first, and I don't know if they're going to be able to with the power that Arena Demons have on the more established maps in the pool.
The biggest thing, Gaskin, for me that's impressed me, whether it be last tournament, this tournament, is AidentheDestroyer's ability to play multiple legends and throw out different looks each and every map. It's hard to adjust to that. That's what made the victory torrent got over them just a little bit earlier. That much more impressive to me. But Renegades, though, how do you think they're going to do with their adaptability?
I think that Renegades will know what Arena Demons are going to try and do here. Like a lot of the strategy we're seeing with legend compositions, we've seen from Arena Demons. Like, for example, just bringing out the Bangalore and ensuring that you've got the smoke cover and whatnot, and the Rampart coming out as well. So when it comes to predictions, I can see the predictions are there and they're waiting. I'm going to go for Arena Demons. I think they're going to have a little bit more than Renegade here.
Okay, Arena Demons onset. I think they're a solid pick, but you've been known to go against your duos. So who are you going to be going for here?
I'm going with Dan. We're on the same wavelength today. I'm liking this. It's
nice.
I'm going with Arena Demons as well. I think they just they had a little bit of a slip up there against Torrent, who were playing out in their minds. But I just feel like with the map pool, with Encore being in Game 5, and with Renegades taking an earlier loss as well, I just feel like Arena Demons, I back them. I think they're going to be solid here.
All right, fair enough. Chad, who are you going to be going with? Arena Demons. You're going to be going against a grain, going with Renegades. Both are solid picks. Wow, they're going with Renegades. Okay, I actually did not expect that. You know, they were the favorite team going in whenever they were playing against Torrent. Nobody was going for them outside of Rain Day. Okay, I guess he is now the new wizard, so to say. I don't know if Girl's going to be taking a backseat or not. We'll definitely find out at the end of day number 2, but... Okay, so Renegade's clearly the favorite here. Fair enough. You know, the biggest thing for me, if I had to take a team, I would be going with the Arena Demons. And the only reason why I weigh that Torrent series heavily. Now, obviously, both teams here have had history. Renegades lost 3-0 to Torrent, whereas opposed to Arena Demons, they lost, but they went to a map 5, which shows to me, different teams, of course, Arena Demons should be the stronger opponent heading in here, but it's really up to their mentality. Taking a loss in a close map 5, knowing that you have to fight for your life and everything's on the line, it is a tough pill to swallow, but swallow they must anyway. So hey, Onset Gasket, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. You guys take it away.
Thank you very much, mate. Don't laugh. I'm not laughing. We're better than that. Let's talk about this game then, Dan, because Renegades, they've been one of the form teams in ALGS, and I've been talking about form a lot recently. And I feel like form is something that really is imperative to talk about now in Apex Legends, in Battle Royales, whatever it may be, because it feels like teams have peaks and troughs, right? And you have this kind of like this little peak, and then you have a little bit of a fall off, and then a lot of teams will kind of pick up again. Or if you look at Torrent, for example, you have that big slide where people are like, okay, we've kind of lost our way now, and it's time for a team change. With Renegades, I feel like they're on a nice progression upwards at the moment. I think it was week 1 of ALGS. I predicted them to be one of the teams who was going to win their group, to be up there in the top 3. And I think so far they've had one of the better performances out of some of the squads. I feel like form is a big thing. And I think especially after the couple of games under their belt right now, they're going to find that chemistry once again. Arena Demons, though, on the other side of things, coming off the back of a loss like they just have, I feel like game 1 has more significance in a bracket than it does kind of in the first round, because you need to find that energy to bounce back from a tough loss.
You do. It's difficult to, not have arguments between the team, ask what's gone wrong, who's done what, who's kind of struggling in certain areas. You need to be focusing on the next game. It's not so much about how you lost the last, but instead how you're going to win this next one. And whether that's just slight adjustments to when you're pushing, are you listening to the IGL correctly? Compositions, we already know that Arena Demons, they seem to be on top of it. They have a strategy for every single map. That's what we like about Arena Demons. They are a more arena-focused team than some others, but you are right. Renegades, they are on the ascendancy. They're 10th at the moment in the ALGS Pro League, so they are having a lot of success, and they may be able to, make this very difficult for Arena Demons. That would be a huge shock if Arena Demons went out in this group, but that just shows the kind of presence that we see from the likes of Torrent and the likes of Renegades.
Well, Dimi's going to have to be careful here, and just looking across compositions at the moment, as we surely we'll see Vaxlon pick up. How is Aiden still alive? Finally, he's going to be put to sleep for a few moments, but the bubble goes down as well, which is going to give Vaxlon a chance to hold for his teammate here as he pops a Phoenix kit. But Aiden just caught out there, Dan, in the 1v1, and Dimi, you can still see in a position where he can't even pop a shield cell at the moment because he's probably worried about Skynade coming in.
Well, PowPow has gone down to Dimi, so at least this is evened up now, and Renegades aren't going to be able to comfortably push. But some nice wingman shots coming out from Sauceror, and the res coming through. PowPow going to get picked back up, so at least Renegades are at a full 3. But it's Arena Demons again, just one of those players getting caught out, getting picked off early. You can understand why it's Dimi as the Pathfinder, because you can re-engage quickly, but as the Ashe, without the ultimate, you can't necessarily get back into or out of a fight so comfortably.
Well, this has been a very interesting round, to be honest with you. Renegades finally managed to close it out and get that knock, but a couple of missed shots here and there, a couple of wingman shots missed through the sky from Rahknee really did make the difference there. If he picks up one knock on that cross, then they can close that gap very quickly and make it a much more interesting round. But as we see so many times in Arena, Dan, that first knock is what gives you the impetus to close out a round, and that is exactly what Renegades managed to do.
Yeah, you can't afford to go down without, you know, at least getting enough damage that it gives the chance for the rest of your team to get a trade. Because in a 3 versus 2, you're at such a disadvantage. It's very unlikely you're going to be able to win. Yes, we've seen it happen. Yes, we've seen those clutches come through. But I think more than likely, a round is inevitably going to follow a victory for whoever gets that first knock. Renegades, though, that'll give them a little bit of confidence here against an Arena Demon side who I'm sure a lot of these teams would have been scared to go up against with what we've seen from them in previous Arena tournaments. But again, AidentheDestroyer being targeted here, trying to cross and being obliterated. His shield's going down, having to use it back.
Yeah, interesting to see that the tag here on AidentheDestroyer, it doesn't have the R on the end of it, and at the moment it's been AidentheDestroyed. However, Dimi and PowPow, they're going to trade out some kills. A Sauceror will fall here. Vaxlon doesn't have any shields to play with, but that doesn't matter because PowPow comes through to take down AidentheDestroyer. And now it's a 2v1. PowPow just waiting for his teammate Vaxlon to get him to position. Dimi isn't going to let that happen, and now he's taking the high ground. Here comes Vaxlon to join him on a merry old dance, and Vaxlon on the Pathfinder will pick up the clutch 1v1 win as Renegades go 2 up and find themselves on map point.
Vaxlon just about doing it, almost going down there. The wingman shots were actually destroying him. He was just a little bit vulnerable because he was the second to zip as the Pathfinder. Probably good that he was a Pathfinder though, because that 1v1 would have been a little bit tricky if he was having to, you know, chase a ghost that is just running around, or zipping around, should I say. But Renegades, yep, 1 round away now from taking map number 1 here, which will be a little bit of a shock, but they just seem to be, you know, winning that opening pick, getting that damage done, and they're making it very difficult for Arena Demons to try and stabilize.
So map point then for Renegades as zipline goes out here. Investment from Arena Demons, and they're going to have the high ground first. Will they be able to get the Skynades out, or will it be a case of just looking for the picks that come in? They try and focus onto Vaxlon on that left-hand side, but Vaxlon manages to stay alive pretty well as the frag grenades are finally dispersed into the sky. 90 damage going to be done here by Dimi, but he's taken around 45 himself as well. But Renegades having to burn through a few early meds here.
Chance to do some damage with the wingman again as Vaxlon's going to be going for a little bit of a flank around, also trying to pick up some resources, but AidentheDestroyer has noticed him, so it's not going to be an easy way around. And it looks like actually Arena Demons just backing off slightly. Renegades are slowly but surely working their way up their map, earning a little bit more pressure and presence as they go, and just playing with so much more confidence than the Arena Demons. Arena Demons just seem to be on the back foot. They seem a little bit scared.
Yeah, it's one thing we have seen Arena Demons have a little bit of a fault in the armor, so to speak, is when some teams do just decide to get hyper aggressive, take the ground off of them, and those shots coming in from Sauceror are going to not only take the ground, but the shields and some health as well. Vaxlon tries to get aggressive to finish off that kill, but look at the property that is now owned by Renegades in comparison to Arena Demons. But you have to say, Dan, Arena Demons, even though they're taking this pressure, they're managing to exchange some damage themselves.
They're doing some fantastic damage, but they haven't got the knock. Rahknee will be very low now. He's going to have to bat up. Renegades back up to a full complement of health, and there's going to be the Mozambique shot. And the first knock is going to go to Renegades, followed by the second. And it should be as simple as you like. Vaxlon waits patiently on the outside of the bubble, and Renegades take map number 1 in a 3-0 sweep. And maybe, chat, you know, maybe they're onto something.
Yeah, that was quick, and it was destructive as well. That final shot really was the cherry on top of the cake, so to speak. Hitting that headshot just outside of the bubble, holding that angle and just popping it over the top of that knockdown shield is everything you want to see in those kind of situations. But I don't really think there's too much to break down in that one, Dan. Renegades just aggressive whenever they had the opportunity to be, and the first knock always seemed to go their way.
Yeah, just sending in the Pathfinder whenever the damage had been done by any of the boys who were sitting back with the wingman, and then the Pathfinder jumps to try and finish off. Even though it didn't work on maybe the first occasion, the second occasion, usually they'd be able to pick it up. But I think they just struck fear into the eyes of Arena Demons there. Arena Demons knew that if at any point they took a critical amount of damage, it was probably going to end up in a 3v3 engagement. They were probably going to be jumped on, so you're not as comfortable, you don't feel as free to med up, you hesitate ever so slightly, and just that second of hesitation allowed the likes of Renegades to just jump on them completely, and it was very comfortable map number 1.
Yeah, I think hesitation is a great keyword to focus on. I think round 1 was a great example of hesitation coming out of Arena Demons as well. They managed to trade out the initial knock after they unfortunately lost one player, but then they were allowing reses to get in. They were a little bit wary of closing space and taking damage, and it just seems like there was a little bit of second guessing of themselves. This was the final moment from the first game as well. You can just see Patience bang. Simple as that, just hitting that nice headshot to close things out. And speaking of closing things out, it was Party Crasher that was done and dusted. 3-0 to Renegades, as now we move over to Thermal Station.
Yeah, and Thermal, again, another map that could be very comfortable for Renegades here if they play under the same rule set that they just went for on Party Crasher, is deal the damage from a distance. Once one player is critically damaged, then you all jump on that remaining player together. Very good targeting from them, and we need to see something different from the Arena Demons. Both of us predicted Arena Demons, and quite rightly so, in previous tournaments and the previous invitationals. The Arena Demons have been on top of it, right? They've been the team to beat for the most part, except for Sentinels taking them down in the previous one. But now they could be facing elimination here if they're not careful. I know we've still got to have a best of 5 played, and it's only 1-0, but Arena Demons are firmly on the back foot. That wasn't a close map whatsoever. They're very much behind Renegades here.
Yeah, one thing that I mentioned previously, that Achilles heel, right? And you mentioned Sentinels, the way the Sentinels played against Arena Demons, not letting them be comfortable at any point. There was always pressure. There was always shots coming in. They weren't afraid to take a few bullets as they closed the gap to really cause some problems for Arena Demons. That's exactly what Renegades did in that game. It was really, really good to see from them. And the one thing that Arena Demons did do well in that Sentinel series, especially after the game 1, was react to that, Dan. They are not afraid to match aggression with aggression. I just wonder if they're going to do that now as we head into Thermal Station in map number 2.
Yeah, and it's difficult to match aggression from the get-go. We know we have seen aggression from Renegades, but it's not necessarily been instant aggression. And if you don't match the same kind of style of aggression, if you try and be instantly aggressive, then you can leave yourself vulnerable to maybe getting flanked or maybe getting out-positioned, not taking the right places on the map, because you're more thinking about getting into engagement. And if the other team doesn't necessarily play ball, then you are going to be, you're going to be struggling a little bit with just map positioning in general. So you need to find a nice balance between map positioning and then the right choice of aggression.
Well, Arena Demon's going to have to step it up here in map number 2. It was a quick story and one without a happy ending for them as well in map number 1. Renegades looking to keep that pressure up though, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them try and be aggressive in this first round, just to kind of put the boot on the throat, so to speak, and really put the pressure onto Arena Demons. However, Rahknee with some nice shots into the back of one player. He's going to give them a little bit of a HP advantage at the start of this, and every single bit of HP advantage you can get, every chip damage that you can acquire, is really going to hurt those meds in these early rounds, Dan. It looks like at the moment, Renegade's kind of caught in that central structure here.
Well, it looked like they chose to go for the central structure, which is okay, but only 2 players are there, whereas Sauceror, from a distance, is watching those methods of entry, and they, you know, if they spot that, then perhaps they might be able to all target either the 2 players in the middle or just try and jump on Sauceror here. But it is an Octane. It means that Sauceror can get away quickly if needs be. PowPow is going to poke out and is going to be somewhat vulnerable, but Rahknee not able to catch him. Vaxlon just about gets away, but Renegades, they seem very scattered here. A little bit more structure from the Arena Demons.
R99 going to be found in that care package as well, and I always love seeing how much ammo in Arena you get for those care packages. There's about 800 light ammo in that R99, so bullets are going to be no kind of problem for Arena Demons. Now we're going to see the push start to come in. However, the Pathfinder is going to take a few shots to the back just to slow things down, and that few seconds, that lack of damage has allowed Renegades now just to momentarily reset as Sauceror comes in and gets the first knock with some more fantastic wingman shots.
Oh, just what we're seeing from Renegades, the strategy is fantastic. The way they lured the Arena Demons into the central building and then played the door. But it's not over just yet. Arena Demons did reply with a knock of their own, but Rahknee very weak. They're going to have to play the door again. Here comes the big boot from Gibby. Bat does go off, and this could be enough to win the round. It will be enough to win the round. That bat was huge.
Yeah, not sure about that decision to kick the door in there from Renegades. They were always going to be kind of risking if the battery got popped or not, and even so, if the battery doesn't get popped, you're still in that animation, that kicking animation, you can still take one wingman shot, and that was exactly what happened. So Renegades maybe better off just holding that door themselves and exchanging some heals. But once again, these shots coming in from Sauceror, he's been really, really hitting some big shots with the wingman.
Surprised that Arena Demons were able to get back into that round after losing the first knock. I thought it was a good strategy from Renegades. They did play that central building. They did use it as a little bit of a trap. They were kind of playing Ring Around the Rosies for some time, but it shows that Arena Demons do have that raw slaying power as well. Even in the 2 versus 3 there, they were able to clutch up and ensure that they all played together. Well, the 2 remaining players played together to do enough damage to take down the Renegades. Now, going into the next round here of map number 2, Renegades will be down 1-0, but if you can hit the wingman shots, then maybe you can just get that opening to send Pathfinder involved and do what Renegades were doing in map number 1. But at the moment, it's Arena Demons who are hitting the damage.
Toes getting a little bit crispy as the Pathfinder just skips across the lava there. Oh, lovely shots once again from Vaxlon. They're not just body shots, there's a headshot to throw into that mix as well. Just peeling the player like an orange off the top of that dome. Rahknee going to be forced to back down, use some more of those meds. They're still trying to hold for his teammate, but every time they're peeking at the moment, Sauceror and Vaxlon are hitting some really, really strong shots, and it's just burning through those resources.
See, I struggle to peel an orange, so if you use that to describe my shots, then it would just be me, you know,
fumbling.
Trying to fumble around with it, trying to like stick my thumb in and grab it, get the nail on, doesn't work. Anyway, Dimi with the wingman does a decent amount of damage, just enough to be able to get away, and elsewhere Rahknee will take down Sauceror. So it was enough damage to allow the rest of the squad to push in, but there's a lot of weak players right now. Everyone just desperately going into their backpack to ensure they get their heals.
Yeah, I don't think Sauceror is in position to be rezzed either. I think he might have been eliminated completely. So it's a 2v3 here in the favor of Arena Demons. Rahknee's trying to get a little bit of a peek on, a little bit of a wiggle on around that corner. He's going to be backed up as well, and that'll now be down to Vaxlon as the last player alive. However, there's a Pathfinder who's soaring through the skies, and that will be the round in the favor of Arena Demons, doing a good job just to clean things up there. But once again, the first knock pivotal in how that round ended up.
Speaking of clean, could be a clean sweep here for Arena Demons to take it 3-0, and that would be the perfect response to a Renegade squad who really showed them up in map number 1, but Thermal Station seems to be a lot more comfortable for Arena Demons. That second round was a lot better for them as well. Getting that first knock, it was Dimi doing the initial damage and then just darting away or ziplining away, grappling away. Finally got there. It took 3, but I got there in the end. I found the right actual term. And then at the end, just grappling on the final remaining player to ensure they got the round. It was Dimi who was getting caught out in the games against Torrent, but you can see why. When you are that Pathfinder, you do have that responsibility to do the damage, then get out of the fight. It's almost what the Wraith would do if you were playing a Wraith.
So a chance here for Arena Demons to tie up the series and answer back to a 3-0 loss in that first game with a 3-0 response to Renegades in this second map. Vaxlon going to take a little bit of damage early on. Going to have to use a couple of shield cells, but looking at how the players are spread across the map at the moment, it looks like Arena Demons will have control of zone, so to speak, as it does move towards them, whereas it'll be Renegades who have to make that
someone wandered into our safe space.
Difficult trip across Thermal Station here, and Dimi just holding down these central zones, misses a couple, but the headshot's going to really mix things up, and those shots as well are going to slow down that push. So good work from Dimi early on here, just landing that initial damage.
Both sides are just so important that you connect with these wingman shots, and if you get tagged by one, you have a decision to make. Do you continue to face, or do you retreat and heal? Because if you face for too long with the aim that we've seen on both of these sides, you could find yourself with a slither of health, if not going down. So you have to play it very carefully, and you really have to find that balance of how long you face for.
I certainly feel that Renegades have taken more damage as this round starts to creep on. A couple of batteries here for Sauceror to use. Rahknee doing some good damage as well as we pop over to the screen of Dimi now, as he throws a couple of grenades up into the skies. AidentheDestroyer will get the first knock of the round as well. A Sauceror now is going to be broken too, and it's a 2v3. Arena Demons looking to capitalize on this. Sauceror just about manages to get back inside that bubble. He will get the bat off. However, he's got 2 players flying at him. So does his teammate, and Arena Demons will close things out in a very, very comfortable fashion. 3-0. The series is tied up at 1-1.
Yeah, we've got a series on our hands here. It was looking a little bit worrying for Arena Demons after the initial map, but that is the response that they would have needed to just give them the confidence, give them the belief that they're not going to be pushovers here, and they can still progress in this tournament. Otherwise, if they'd gone 2-0 down and just given that momentum to Renegades, that would have been a little bit terrifying, and I'm sure that now they'll just have a little bit of a, just kind of a breath of fresh air, a little bit of relief running through their bodies right now.
Yeah, as I said, round one I think is important in that second map, and the way that they won it was just as impressive. You know, it was a round one that went their way, and then when you're on the other side of that, if you're Renegades, you're thinking, oh, we've just won 3-0, you kind of take your eye off the ball a little bit, so that's only one round. But with the way that Arenas works and the scoring, you can take your eye off the ball, 2 rounds, then you're like, oh, geez, like, we have to win this one, otherwise it's done and dusted, and that's exactly what happened. So we have the series tied up at 1-1. Game 3 is just around the corner. It's time for us to jump into a quick break, and let us know in the chat, of course, who you think is going to take game number 3.
Taylor Reflections Noble joined by Onset and Gaskin. 2 maps down in our loser bracket matchup. Winner moves on to playoffs. Loser will be having an early exit. We're tied up 1-1, Gaskin. Incredible stuff. You know, honestly, was super worried about Arena Demons after they took that 3-0 loss. In fact, even RKN came in chat and was like, I think we broke them. And I was in agreement. But talk about flipping the script, right? Thermal Station, a big 3-0 lead. That should give them the confidence boost they needed.
I feel sorry for Arena Demons sometimes because they're kind of the outsiders a little bit, even though you've got all these teams who are coming in who kind of play BRs together, scrim together, and then you've got this one arena team who is just known for being a solid arena smashing squad. And then they go down to the lower bracket and everyone's going to be asking those questions. And, you know, They responded with a 3-0 there. Very important.
I think the big key takeaway is, you know, it's always jarring when you see a favorite go down to the loser bracket. Arena Demons obviously had to be the favorite. They got second place the last tournament on set, but make no mistake about it, Arena Demons, it's a talented roster, so is Torrent. So it does make sense that one of them had to drop down, but I do appreciate, like I said, you know, the big victory, the 3-0. So now I'm curious who's going to be taking this next one, because Overflow isn't necessarily a guarantee anymore, even though it used to be the bread and butter for Arena Demons. They lost earlier, 3-1 to the team of Torrent. So this might be a trouble point for Arena Demons once again, but I do believe if they take this map number 3, I think they're going to close out the series in a good shape. But either way, I'm going to be hopping off. Onset Gaskin, take it away.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Reflections. Time for game 3, Dan, and we are tied up at 1-1 in the series. And as I say, we're heading over to Overflow now, which, like Taylor said perfectly, right? This used to be the home ground, if you like, the home town heroes would move here, and that's Arena Demons, and they would win every time they were here, but not looking quite so much that way anymore. And I just wonder if something we should be giving a little bit more credit to here is pro teams' adaptability, right? You gotta remember that when Arena Demons came in the first time, they were showing a load of tricks that pro teams just weren't seeing because they hadn't played in, as much Arena, whether it was Bangalore smokes, whether it was the 30-30 repeaters in the early round. But now the likes of Renegades, the likes of Torrent, they kind of know what's being brought to the party, and they're able to counteract it. So it's up to Arena Demons to try and mix things up once again here.
Yeah, there isn't that surprise factor anymore. We know how they're going to be playing, so the other teams also know how they're going to be playing. It's not going to be that trick up the sleeve that is going to catch other teams out. But we'll see whether the Bangalore can make a huge difference here for Arena Demons. That's going to be the outlier. That's going to be the one legend which we'll keep our eyes on. But for Renegades, they stick to their same composition. Gibby's going to be very important, of course, and the bubble's already gone down, and Renegades will get the opener onto Dimi.
Yeah, Dimi falls very, very early here. Some good crossfire coming in the meantime. It was PowPow who did get that initial damage. See AidentheDestroyer, he's in some problems at the moment. The team's trying to climb up at the moment. However, AidentheDestroyer's left on his own. The smoke is down. He has the Digi threat, which should help him out. However, it doesn't do enough help, and it will be Renegades who win that skirmish right at the end of the first round to take home the first round and put them on the board.
And what's going to be important here for Renegades is about getting those Digi threats, right? Mozambique, Digi have a way to counteract the smokes, because that is going to be an option for the Arena Demons. They're going to be a nuisance. They're going to have the Mozams. They're going to be smoking off those areas. But it was Renegades getting the opening pick, and again, it was on to Dimi, something that was happening against Torrent, just getting caught out. I will kind of again say that it is because you are a Pathfinder. It's okay to be in those positions, and it is okay if you are the one who gets caught out and goes down first. It's just unfortunate when it is constantly Dimi. It's very easy to be like, oh, well, you know, Dimi went down first, so it must be his fault. But at the same time, Dimi has elsewhere done loads of damage and provided a victory for the team by doing that damage. So it is worth taking those risks.
Yeah, I mean, look at the damage he's doing now off the rip. 76 headshot as well. He's broken not only one, but two shields, but he's going to be challenged aggressively here by Renegade's player. That was PowPow, I think, who slid down to try and finish off that initial damage. And one thing that Renegades aren't doing is letting Arena Demons be comfortable. They have to constantly be on their toes here.
Sauceror, though, having the back out, will be able to heal, opting to go for health rather than any shields, so that makes me question, is there even shields available? Might have to be communicating to the rest of the team to get some drops. I don't think he's got any to work with, whereas Arena Demons, they are at full health right now. Smoke's still available for AidentheDestroyer, and it's a little bit of a standoff. Just long-distance shots with the wingman, Mozambique's in the back pocket, and the zone might just have to force a fight here, because for now, both teams seem more than happy to keep their distance.
Got a live one out there.
The zone is controlled by Arena Demons. Dimi takes a little bit of damage once more. The package is down in the middle as well. You can see the PowPow trying to make a little bit of a jump up there to see if he could get his hands on some goodies, which might have dropped out of the sky, but at the moment, the only goodies the Renegades need to worry about are shield cells and shield batteries, because all of them had their shields broken. The Bangalore smoke will go down as the zone starts to force these two teams in.
Danger close.
As AidentheDestroyer with that Mozambique with the purple bolt and the digi threat is really starting to peel away at these players.
Disorientate you as well with that smoke going down, but Sauceror just shredding with the R99. Now just needs to heal up. He's going to go for the Phoenix kit, so this is going to be a long old heal. Needs to have the rest of the team just hold for him here and ensure that he pops this off, because both Vaxlon and PowPow are extremely low. They need Sauceror here and now in this fight.
And the Destroyer will pick up not only one, but two, and now it's all onto Sauceror. Rahknee goes down. It's a 1v1 here. AidentheDestroyer had the advantage, but has to reload, and that's going to cost him here. And Renegades clutch up in the 1v1, but you feel down that Arena Demons probably should have closed that one out.
Well, it was just that Phoenix kit took so long for Renegades that it left them a little bit vulnerable with the two remaining weak players, but it did pay off in the end, I guess. The fact that he was able to come in and finish the two remaining players off, but it's... Yes, okay, you could say it could have been Arena Demons because AidentheDestroyer had the health advantage, but didn't have the ammo advantage, right? A reload is a reload, but do you need to assess that situation? Do you need to be recognizing that and saying, look, I don't have the ammo here, I've only got enough for one shot, and then I've got to go swinging? Because if he goes in for the melees, he doesn't leave himself as vulnerable. He could have maybe jumped over and gone for a little punch to the forehead, but instead left himself completely open, and that's going to be a big round for Renegades.
Well, Sauceror is going to be feeling pretty good. So are Vaxlon and PowPow after that last round. And Arena Demons could be on the receiving end of a 3-0 here if they're not careful about things on what used to be, like I say, their home turf. But really isn't looking as comfortable as it used to be here on Overflow for them. Rahknee down low at the moment with the wingman in hand, looking to see if there's any flanks coming in. Now, can they get hold of this care package, or is it going to be crafting materials that he's on a little search for here? Vaxlon's going to exchange some fire, but only Vaxlon is going to be connecting. And at the moment, it seems like Arena Demons are just being outshot in these 1v1s.
Yeah, Renegades are really targeting play as well, communicating and ensuring they're all focusing the same legend. And if they can get that first knock, this could be the map going their way. Look at how they're just quickly targeting and looking. The 90 hits so hard, and that could be a knock if anyone's there to finish, but Sauceror has to be careful.
I'm not going to lie, the buff to the PK brought a smile to my face. Rahknee manages to exchange the initial knock that came in from PowPow, but he's going to have to retreat very quickly. AidentheDestroyer managed to get a battery off. Sauceror does still have the HP advantage, but he's not going to be able to connect with those wingman shots. So a 2v2 across the map here. You can see both players a little bit split here from Arena Demons.
AidentheDestroyer hasn't been able to med up. Instead, he's just got full shield, so does leave himself vulnerable. And that's going to be the PK hitting hard again. AidentheDestroyer, the last player now remaining, and the last hope for Arena Demons here on this map.
As for the Arcstar, is he going to be able to get any collateral damage? He's not, and he's just going to jump up into his death. And Renegades, blink and you'll miss it. It's 3-0. They win the map, and they go ahead in the series 3-1.
3-0 in every map so far, isn't it? You know, that's going to put advantage to Renegades, obviously, but I think it was what we heard previously. If the team who wins the third map gains that momentum, does that just give them that real advantage going into map number 4 here? Or are we going to get that constant tennis back and forth where we're going to see 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, and then we go into the game 5? It's kind of poised for a game 5 with how both of these teams have been playing, but at the same time, are we going to see Arena Demons just get broken again? We heard RKN saying, did we break them by sending them into the lower bracket? Well, now they're on the verge of elimination, only one map away from being sent out of this tournament. they're not used to being in that position. They're not used to being on this back foot, so that might really hurt their mentals.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. By the way, I love it from RKN. He's one of my favorite people on Twitter. He just doesn't care about the beef. He's all about the beef. He wants to give out a little bit of a dagger to people when he gets the better of them. Also, he's able to take it, which is the other side of things. But, you know, Renegades here, this 1v1 at the start. Again, one of those situations where if Arena Demons win that, especially with the Digi threat as well, I don't know if it was just one of those where it just didn't have any kind of sight through the Digi, didn't get an outline, didn't get anything. That 1v1, this 1v1, and it could be so different, Dan, but clutching up in big moments is what wins you arena tournaments, and Renegades were the team to do it there.
I think what was more impressive about that clutch in the second round was the fact that it was a wingman in the hands of Renegades, or the final Renegades player, against the Mozambique, and it's very easy to miss those wingman shots in close quarters, but able to just ensure that shot after shot found the connection, and overflow goes in favor of Renegades 3-0, which moves us to Phase Runner, which means we're probably going to see a Rampart. We know that's what Arena Demons like to do. That's their kind of meta pick when it comes to the flex. AidentheDestroyer will be moving over, or do they maybe not feel comfortable after what happened against Torrent? Do they maybe feel like maybe they're not going to go for as much of a flex? But I'd imagine they probably will stick with their tried and tested.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Renegades approach this one as well. If they're going to allow that Rampart to set up, probably with the 30-30 repeater, you would imagine at the start of this, maybe a Rampage, you come into it a little bit later on, but it's going to be, I wonder if they're going to try and keep the momentum rolling over. I think round one, vital here. After the back of a 3-0, if you get that first round on the board, so 2 rounds, job done, and you put all of those questions, like you've just mentioned, back into the minds of Arena Demons. Do we need to change something? And you've only got a couple of rounds to do it, so the answer has to be yes, we have to change now, or you kind of stick with the strategy that you're kind of going in and you're not having the success with.
Yeah, I think if you play a Rampart on this map, you are playing a style where you are inviting pressure and you're inviting the other team to be more aggressive than you are. As long as you're hitting your shots, then that's fine, because when the other team starts to get aggressive and they try and gain ground on you, you stop them from pushing by dealing that damage, you force them back, they have to heal. You then play that long game of, I'm going to out-heal you, I'm going to have more resources than you, and then once you've depleted those resources, that's when you push. But they've just not been able to do that in the games they've lost, because Renegades have been so quick to jump on them, so quick to take advantage of any damage they've been doing. So Arena Demons, they need to be aware of that. They can't allow Renegades to have too much ability to hit those wingman shots from a distance.
Well, a chance for Renegades to close out the series here on Phase Runner for Arena Demons. They've already answered back from one slapping in the first game with a slapping of their own back to Renegades, and they're going to have to try and repeat that dosage as we head into map number 4 now. Who have you got here, Dan? How do you think this one's going to go?
I mean, I predicted Arena Demons coming into it, but Renegades, you know what, I think the momentum might be just with them, and I think they might have Arena Demons' number. They have found the chink in the armor. They realize that Arena Demons are a little bit vulnerable when you do push their buttons a little bit too hard, when you get aggressive, when you get in the face, but the aggression not paying off this time, and maybe Arena Demons answering back to Renegades and saying, okay, let's fight fire with fire.
Bubble's already down as well. You can see the Renegades, they're split. PowPow's trying to do what he can to buy some time for Sauceror to get close, but Sauceror, unfortunately, doesn't quite have the sauce to win a 1v3. And it will be round number 1, and a vital round for the mental game, for the momentum of this series, going to the hands of Arena Demons.
And it is very easy to get these snowball 3-0s because of how the economy works, and how you get such an advantage once you have won a couple rounds in a row. You are going to have better weapons, you are going to have more resources to work with, might even have an extra ultimate over your opposition. So it's really important that in this round, you answer back if you're Renegades. You tie it up 1-1, you even out that economy ever so slightly, you don't allow Arena Demons to go in 2-0 up with a massive advantage when it comes to weapons, ultimates, resources.
Renegades making their way towards the Broken Gate side of Phase Runner once more. And Dimi won that 1v1 around the pill early on. This time, it looks like Renegades actually going to give up those men, so they're going to be playing a very similar side. Once again, AidentheDestroyer taking this off angle, hitting 68 damage as well. That little buff coming through, the amped cover. Sauceror hitting a little 45 shot himself. A bit of an ego challenge there from Sauceror, but he's going to be able to back up now and comfortably bat. And now back to the standoff, and this is where you can start to feel the tension in these games, Dan. Both teams know that This map is kind of everything. Arena Demons needed to hang on, and Renegades needed to close out the series.
Renegades are trying to worm their way around the map and try and get closer to the two players who are on their own, as it were. They're not with AidentheDestroyer, who is taking that angle, but they're just constantly playing ring around the rosy. So instead, they're saying, well, maybe we actually target AidentheDestroyer here. If we can, you know, create a gap, if we can get between the two teams, and they have done that. They are going to be able to fly in on Aiden, manage to get the crack, and they'll get the knock as well. So job done from Renegades, but there is going to be a response.
Yeah, it was just the time that it took for them to get there. Now Rahknee's left on his own as AidentheDestroyer and Dimi will fall. Vaxlon and PowPow the final two, and they'll be able to shield up as well. So you'd be very surprised if Renegades don't manage to close out the advantage that they do have. Rahknee's going to have to time this battery. However, for the noise of a Pathfinder grapple, he boots the Gibby off the high ground though. So he's going back down there, Sonny Jim, but it doesn't matter because the last laugh will be had by Renegades as they close things out now, tying things up at 1-1. And it was that focus on to the Rampart player, like you mentioned, that gave them that success.
When you started that sentence, you sounded a little bit like Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc. It sounded like you were going to go, put that thing back where it came from. Sorry, it really did. Yeah, it was like a good impression that you didn't really mean to do. Anyway,
I sound like a one-eyed monster, Dan. That's all I can say. That's what I sound like.
That you do. Arena Demons, they left themselves a little bit vulnerable though. Renegades playing that really well, putting themselves between the three players, just forcing two of them back and saying, hey, look, if you are too far away from AidentheDestroyer, then we are going to make this easy work. And they deserve that round. And finally, we're not going to have a 3-0 sweep, so this is going to be a very close map indeed.
Well, AidentheDestroyer loves to take this angle, just using the amped cover to allow him to peek out a little bit wider. Then Renegades will have the advantage of doing so. He's got a few more angles on Renegades than they do him, and you can already see on the cross there the damage that's being done by that 30-30 repeater. The bubble going to be burnt early on here. Dimi doing some calculations and seeing if he can land that frag grenade to do some damage. However, Vaxlon's just caught in a really tough place here, and he's going to have to stare at that nade indicator as well, but it doesn't matter too much because he's able to escape here, get that battery off as Rahknee now jumps up to that high ground. Vaxlon caught in a really tough spot here.
Yeah, Renegades in general just being down low, they're really struggling, but there is going to be shots elsewhere. Rahknee taking down Vaxlon. He's very low, is Rahknee. They need to get the response now, Renegades, but they don't. Rahknee gets the bat off, but now will fall. Dimi eventually joins the fight, and it all comes down to Sauceror in a 1 versus 2, and unless he goes huge here and actually almost made something of it, but it's going to be another round for Arena Demons, making this 2-1 and putting themselves on map point. Renegades, they were just on the back foot throughout the majority of the round there. As soon as they got forced down low, they really struggled to find a way of dealing damage to the Arena Demons without taking too much damage themselves. And Arena Demons eventually just were able to pummel away at the Renegades and close out the round.
Yeah, I feel like that PK had to have a 0 on the end of the 9, not just the 9 that hit. And then there might have been an opportunity for that 1v2, excuse me, to become a 1v1 that might have been winnable, but didn't happen. The PK this time not having the say that it has on our previous map that we saw. But here's a zip line now from Arena Demons. Like you mentioned, they win this round, and we do head to that map 5, and that is the kind of wild card, so to speak, as far as maps is concerned. It's the one that they lost against Torrent a few moments ago, and Encore might be a place where they can kind of restore a little bit of order here to the tournament. But Renegades, they're not going to want to go there. They want to close this up 2-2 and elongate this phase runner map.
And Renegades just have to be careful here because Sheila is out to play. Rampart's ultimate is down, and that turret can really rip through your shields, but it's Arena Demons who lose the first. Rahknee down to a grenade from PowPow, but AidentheDestroyer forcing the bubble. Dimi is low elsewhere, and now AidentheDestroyer is in a 1 versus 3.
Yeah, the bubble just caused a distraction there. PowPow was willing to take damage to close that gap, and then they just collapse onto the final player. Really well played there. The initial knock was so huge and influential, and Arena Demons now did have the chance to tie up the series. Well, now it's just this map that's tied up as Renegades come back into it.
And this is going to be a long old map now, so you have to play to 4 points rather than 3. And of course, if it goes to 4-4, then we go into sudden death. But you feel like this is really going to be the turning point for Arena Demons if they can get 3 and 4 on the board, because then Renegades, knowing how close they were to winning this series, does that then take a toll onto the mental game? Do they even want to be playing the next map? Do they want to be playing Encore? Are they going to be as comfortable? How much strategy are we going to see Arena Demons employ on Encore. They are certainly the team who were able to take the initiative and show a strategy on all of these maps. Maybe they've got something up their sleeves, but first they need to focus here on the Renegade squad, and maybe it's going to be the Sheila coming down to do the damage, but it didn't work out for them in the previous.
Yeah, back to the Phase Runner side of Phase Runner, the completed tunnel. And this is where Renegades didn't have any success last time. However, defensive bombardment is going to cause a distraction for them. And look at Sauceror here on the Octane. He's got an amazing angle on two of these players. Does 120 plus damage to the two. However, Sheila comes to say hello. However, a Pathfinder comes to say goodbye as Renegades will get that first knock. Sauceror taken down to very low HP, but doing damage as he escapes as well. Renegades have the chance here to take the round.
Yeah, Sauceror got away. That's the important part there. Now he can heal up, and now it's going to be a 3 versus 2. And it should be inevitable. Vaxlon taking down Rahknee means it's a 3 versus 1 now at this point. And even though it's a valiant effort here, Dimi is going to be the last remaining player to go down. So Arena Demons will lose that one. Renegades put themselves onto not just map point, but series point, and it would be the end of Arena Demons tournament if that point does go in favor of Renegades. So this really is do or die now for the Arena Demons. They gave it a good effort there, but the bombardment, as you said, just allowed the ability for the flank to happen. Sauceror wrapped around, got 3 shots, did enough damage, and then was able to back out.
Yeah, really impressive use of distraction, essentially. It was a defensive bombardment, not really meant to do damage, but meant to just huddle up the team to stop them from forcing forward and allowing them to deny any kind of line of sight on them as they had to kind of hide behind those boxes or find somewhere to play as to not take damage. And Renegades using every single ability here is now on this side of the map. It's 1 round each down. Now we've seen that ability being used. It won't be available for Gibraltar this time around. Can Arena Demons answer back, or will Renegades just ride off that momentum of the last round?
Cover being destroyed. Are we going to see the Arena Demons look to try and switch things up and get a little bit more aggressive? PowPow is extremely low, and that might just invite Arena Demons to get the aggression on. We are going to see the Rampage get charged up as well, so maybe this is the chance for Arena Demons to really try and wipe out a Renegades who are quite firmly on the back foot right now. They're all healing up, but are their positions going to be good enough? Can they actually stop a push from the Arena Demons if that push eventually comes through? It looks like now it's send it time. They're going.
Yeah, PowPow might be taken out here. He's going to be popping batteries, but his 2 teammates have got to do a job of holding down this position. However, the Rampage is still revved up and it's still starting to sing here, but it's not quite hitting the tune that they would have wanted. Renegades now are going to respond to the PK. Big chunk damage coming in. Sauceror managed to pick up 1. It was traded out as Rahknee now will make it a 1 versus 2, make it 0. As Arena Demons stay alive here, Dan. It's 3-3 now.
Yep, so first to 5 now. So Arena Demons, they reset everything. They had to ensure they won that round, otherwise they would have been out of the tournament. And that's going to be, again, a little bit frustrating for Renegades, not being able to close out this one, because it very easily can go against you. If you don't close out this map, if Arena Demons make this 2-2 overall, suddenly this gets scary when you move over to Encore. Arena Demons almost threw this one away. The shots with the PK hit pretty hard, but the response there from Rahknee with the Volt had to hit all those shots, ensured that the rest of the team was able to just finish things off after he had done the damage. And now Arena Demons can at least breathe just a sigh of relief here, as they have a couple of rounds to work with.
Dimi going to be hitting that grapple towards those middle pills again, but it looks like that's taking a little bit of different angle here. I think he realized that maybe he wasn't in the best position to get hold of those meds. It'll be Vaxlon who sneaks in to get him. However, I was speaking about guns singing a tune. Well, it's a falsetto coming out from AidentheDestroyer at the moment. He's hitting all of the high notes as the devotion. He's just ripping through shields. Vaxlon will fall, and now it's a 2v3, and Sauceror also feeling the pain of the Devo.
Tap of the res is there, but the res won't be completed. And now Renegades are retreating, and they're going to have to try and work this one in a 2 versus 3. A 2 versus 3 against a fully stacked Arena Demons with devotions and all of the other good stuff. It should allow them to close this round out and take the advantage on this map. But, and there is always a but, if Arena Demons do leave themselves vulnerable, maybe there's a chance for the Renegades, but Dimi will just get out of dodge there, and with that damage, that's going to be enough for Arena Demons to push in. 4-3, and they put themselves on map point here, and they should be able to tie up the series if they can play in a similar fashion, because the damage that they were able to output there from distance was incredible.
Yeah, the difference between a 30-30 and a fully charged up Devotion with all the attachments, all the bells and whistles can be seen for everyone there. Vaxlon couldn't even pick up the meds and get around the corner. He was just shredded before he even managed to retreat to his teammates, and then it was just a simple job of making sure that no mistakes were made. But Arena Demons, who are looking down the barrel of elimination just a couple of rounds ago now, Dan, might be able to send this one to a game 5.
Yeah, and I feel like I remember Arena Demons doing this in a group stage game in a previous tournament. It wasn't the elimination game, but it was certainly, they were in a position where they could be knocked down to the lower bracket, and then they answered back, went on to win the series, and we were all plaudits. We were saying how impressive it was. They were able to stay mentally strong. They didn't let it defeat them. And wow, 106 with a Sentinel, when it's amped up, it does hit hard. Vaxlon very low right now. PowPow also struggling, having to bubble. Renegades, maybe this is going to a game 5 if they're not careful.
Dimi almost finding his way across bottom mid as well. Another 106 coming in from AidentheDestroyer. The switch to the Sentinel, which is still amped, add a 90 to that. That's around 300 damage that's been outputted by him so far in this round, and that's the sign for Dimi to push, trying to clean up that kill. Rahknee will pick up the kill onto PowPow now. What a comeback this has been from Arena Demons. And Renegades in a 2v3, and it's not looking healthy for them at all.
Yeah, just changing things up a little bit with the Sentinel, doing some damage, and now Sheila also comes into play. Arena Demons looking to try and finish things off, and it's so frustrating when you're just being obliterated by that turret. We're going to map number 5.
That's the exact noise I make when I'm on Sheila, by the way, just for everyone who's wondering what it's like to play ranked with me. That's the noises that come out of my mouth. So that was a little indication into to what happens when we play Apex. But yeah, Sheila doing some big damage at the end, but it was all about the Sentinel, Dan, not missing a bullet. Only the 1x on it as well. Luckily, the range wasn't quite extended enough for that to be a real problem. But yeah, I mean, 106, 90. You can't ask for more from a player to have that kind of impact.
Just so difficult when whenever you poke out, you're just getting absolutely smashed by a Sentinel over and over again. And as soon as they realized it was the Gibby who was weak, and he didn't have the bubble either, that was full send. They took advantage of it, and we go to a game 5. And I think it deserved a game 5. It's going to be a shame to see either of these teams be eliminated.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Renegades, as soon as it got to those later rounds, that's where we saw a little bit of a change in weaponry coming in from Arena Demons that made the difference. We'll have to see as we head into a break if that will continue to make the difference as we head to a final and deciding game number 5. It's tied up at 2-2 in the series. We'll see you in just a few.
$1 Invitational. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Onset and Gaskin. A second game 5 back-to-back for Arena Demons. They stay alive after winning Phase Runner 5-3 despite them being down. You gotta respect their tenacity and their composure to be able to come back. Phase Runner, definitely an outlier for Arena Demons. Gotta say, probably their best map, at least based on what I've seen from them playing against Torn and also against Renegades. But hey, the conversation is now here on set. We brought it up before during the pre-talk when we saw the maps. One of the concerns that I had is Encore being map number 5. Well, now we are at map number 5, and I think Arena Demons could be in some trouble here.
I kind of agree with you. Reason being, from what I saw on that last map, which sounds crazy to say, right, because of the fact that Arena Demons obviously won it, but the reason they won it was the latter round strategy that they had, bringing out the Devotion and then bringing out the Sentinel, knowing the economy and knowing how to work angles, knowing what weapons are going to be best in certain situations, whereas Renegades on the other side kind of stuck with what they had that brought them success in the early rounds. Now, when you go over to a map that teams don't have as much experience on, maybe don't know the economy as well, don't know the angles, then that changes. That kind of puts the favor back into Renegades for me, because they're going to be used to just hitting the same shots with the same guns, right? If they do get to those later rounds, though, that's where it seems like Arena Demons do have a little bit of a change up. So for Renegades, I think you got to get it done quickly. Otherwise, Arena Demons, the longer that they spend on this map, the more success they're probably going to have.
You know, Gaskin, I got to pose a question to you. For me, from what I've been seeing from Arena Demons, it's a little bit different from the last tournament. They're not as crispy with their shots. They're not as, they're still accurate, right? They still output a ton of damage, but they're not as confident, it seems, in their up close and personal fights. They like the spacing. Encore isn't necessarily going to give that spacing towards Arena Demons. Renegades should be able to close the gap a lot easier. I think that's going to give them a distinct advantage. So as I do hop off, Gaskin, I got to ask you, for Renegades, how much of an advantage are they going to have heading into this final map? Boys, take it away.
He's done that thing where he's asked a question and he's disappeared again. So
He'll come
I
back.
don't have
Just
to
answer the
it.
question. Well, I've learned. No, you do. Otherwise, he comes
Oh
back.
yeah, because he boat comes down, door gets kicked in. In answer to his question, I think that Renegades, they need to ensure that Arena Demons can't make this too strategical. You touched upon it as well. They are at their best when they know the map, when they know the meta, when they find these weapons that can kind of catch the team off guard, or they know the legends that can catch these teams off guard. In a map that hasn't been practiced by as many teams, you would imagine, Renegades, I want to see them fast-paced. Hit Arena Demons hard, don't let it get to the point where they're kind of going for that resource battle. Instead, you just take a 3v3 engagement. As soon as you've got damage on them, you run at them, and you do what you did in the other previous 3-0 victories.
Well, here we go. Everybody at home, Renegades fans, Arena Demons fans, or if you still call yourselves a Mona's fan, it doesn't matter because it's game 5 here in this elimination game. And early on, Renegade's going to take a little bit of damage here. And I just wonder, Arena Demons have played a couple of rounds on this map already, Dan. Is that going to go into their favor? Have Renegades got as many reps as their opponents? I'm sure we'll find out very, very quickly in this first round.
So something that was brought to our attention in the previous game was the damage output from both of these teams. Arena Demons putting up almost double what Renegades were able to do on the previous map. Dimi actually throwing down over 3,000 damage. So if they can find that same amount of damage here in this game, they should be able to turn that into a victory, and they'll get the first knock here onto Sauceror.
Bubble goes down, but it's a defensive one, and there's already a flank coming in. This is looking like it might be quick work from Arena Demons. The first knock, and then the collapse comes in. And this is what I was slightly concerned about for Renegades. Do they know their angles? Do they know where they want to hold? And do they know where they want to play here on Encore? Because Arena Demons, like I say, got some reps under the belt. And it just seemed like they were a little bit more comfortable on where they could and couldn't push.
Onto the Bangalore as well. So clearly they feel like just blocking off some of the sight lines with the smokes here is going to be important. For Renegades, they need this round. If this goes 2-0 Arena Demons, I might just chalk it because the momentum and the economy will be behind the Arena Demons. Renegades need an answer, and just that first player getting caught out on their own was not great. Sauceror, as the Octane, wasn't able to escape, and again, that might come down to just not knowing the map as well, not knowing where your escape routes are, so hopefully Renegades can adjust quickly.
There's going to be a big battle going in from the Pathfinders, and one is going to have more cover than the other. Vaxlon's going to be left on his own, and that means that no resources from those loot pills will be going to Renegades here. As initial damage was done by Arena Demons, they won that race, and now AidentheDestroyer is going to take some damage himself. Dimi going to have to back up to his teammates as well, as AidentheDestroyer and Rahknee will both be popping batteries to get themselves back to a full HP. And now PowPow trying to move up. And you can see the idea from Renegades. They got that damage done. They threw the bubble forward, maybe to just try and close some ground. But now they don't have that bubble. So if a fight does break out where they try and close the gap, they're going to leave themselves vulnerable as Sauceror takes some damage.
So much open ground here, which does mean that if a Sentinel comes into play later, or whether the 30-30 comes into play later, these shots can be hit. But for now, it's just wingmen everywhere. Dimi just about escaping, otherwise that could have been very detrimental to the rest of the team. But Renegades pretty low on resources right now. I'm not sure they've got any shields, so they're looking to try and get a 3v3 engagement, but Arena Demons just keep backing off. Deal damage, back off. Deal damage, back off. This is working perfectly for them.
And now the jump up comes as well, and it's Dimi who actually trades out a kill. Vaxlon has fallen. Rahknee gets one, and now it's all up to PowPow. It's a 1v2. Let's have a little bit of smoke to give him a second maybe to pop some sort of resources. It's a 76 headshot, 2 of them as well, but it's not enough. Oh, that was a close one. He almost managed to clutch up in the biggest of ways there, but Renegades now down by 2, Dan, and we're on match point.
And this is now really scary times for Renegades, who were on match point in the previous map. And they might be ruining their chance at being able to take down and take out the Arena Demons from this tournament, because now Arena Demons, if they can carry on playing that way, it's going to be so frustrating for Renegades. Renegades couldn't close that gap. Every time they were able to gain any ground, the Arena Demons just backed off. They grappled out, and then they were just pelting them, peppering them with damage from a Wingman or a Mozambique. And they got it to the point where Renegades just had no shields left because they weren't able to get those opening pills. They weren't able to spend as much money on resources because they lost the opening round. And now Arena Demons are going to have everything on their side. They've got all of the economy, they've got all of the momentum, and they potentially have the series here in their hands.
Already getting some flesh damage as well. Vaxlon manages to get that battery off. Aiden tries to pop up to a little bit of high ground, but it's going to be forced to scarper back extremely quickly as one of those wingman shots does come in. Vaxlon going to have to pop a couple of syringes, which shows the economy that is in play for Renegades. No med kits to play with. Vaxlon's going to be sending it though. A little bit of chip damage through the air as they're trying to focus onto Dimi, but the cover fire is there as well as the Bangalore smoke. They bubble in. Can they get the knock? This is so important. They've committed to this here, Renegades. If they can't get this knock, the longer it goes on, the less likely they are to get it, and AidentheDestroyer will trade it out. It's now 2v2 on the map.
Massive trade there from AidentheDestroyer to really give Arena Demons a chance to win it here and now. Renegades might be down to just one, and they will. All down to Sauceror now.
Sauceror, unfortunately, looks like it could be the end here as Arena Demons close things out in the most dominant of fashion here on Encore. They win the series, they win the map 3-0, but it was a tight series, 3-2 the final score, and Renegades gave it everything they had.
Might just be kicking themselves a little bit, Renegades. They had the opportunity to knock Arena Demons out of the tournament, and I wonder if every other team in the tournament is going to be maybe trying to kick Renegades because they're saying you could have got rid of Arena Demons. They've been so good in the previous UMG Invitationals, but it's not going to happen here. Reflections. Arena Demons, they still survive and they will progress.
I'm impressed. I really am. It's kind of wishy-washy for me because I'm trying to decide how strong Arena Demons are going to be in playoffs tomorrow. But you said it best, Gaskin. Like, at this point, Renegades really did have their chance. And it was funny because you said the exact same thing when it was a tense, I believe, 3-2 lead for Renegades. But obviously, at this point, Arena Demons just wanted it a bit more. I do got to pose the question to you on set. What was it different, or what was different this time around versus the previous series against Torrent? Because obviously, Arena Demons, they took a heavy 3-0 loss. They flipped the script and now get a heavy 3-0 win. What do you think made the difference from the first series to the second series for Arena Demons?
Straight up, I think Renegades looked a little bit lost on that map, Encore. I'm not sure if how they wanted to play, what areas they wanted to try and hold, what angles they wanted to try and, you know, do their damage from, which is something that they will know on the other maps, having got some arena tournament experience now. Whereas the adaptability of their opponents, Arena Demons, was on display for everyone, right? They managed to stall out a few kills as well, where Renegades are committed. This one at the end was massive. Dimi did go down, but look how long it took for Renegades to get that knock, having committed. They took so much damage, which then allowed quite simple finish off, to be honest with you, at the end, even though these shots at the end are pretty crispy, to be honest with you, for the win. But they just looked a little bit lost in comparison to some of the other maps, and I think that might just be an Encore experience thing for Renegades.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Encore, obviously the newest map added into this rotation. You know, still familiar ground, you know, familiar POI, I think, for the teams, obviously, who've been competing in AOGS. But seriously, Renegades, it seems as if, I don't know, it is so disappointing. And I think that was the sentiment that you guys said at the beginning, or at least after map number 4, heading into map number 5. And Gaskin, you're pointed out, it's sad to see either of these two teams leave because of how talented they were. It's always tough to be in loser bracket, go to a game 5, and, you know, obviously see the exit of Renegades, who were much hyped up, right? Chat believed in them, and at a certain point, I was believing in them, but it just simply wasn't enough. But for Arena Demons, I do got to ask you, heading into playoffs tomorrow, how strong do you think they really look?
I think that Arena Demons are always the team that shows initiative, right? On a new map or even an old map, they always bring something to the table and they do adjust well. Yes, okay, they've looked a little bit wishy-washy, I think is how you said it today. They've been back and forth. At times they've looked pretty dry, but other times they've looked at their best. We can see which maps they're more comfortable on. I think they are a team who will go back, rewatch things, and they will, well, maybe not practice, but they'll certainly look to try and employ things tomorrow that they weren't able to do today. I think they're going to put the time in, and I think that they're going to be a scary team to go against tomorrow. I think other teams will just be like, oh, we're in playoffs, you know, that's fine, we've been playing well. Whereas Arena Demons, they want this. I feel like they want to prove a point.
And Onset, just real quick, Dimi, he was getting isolated and solo out in both of the series that he had to play against Torrent, as well as obviously just Renegades. How can he avoid that for tomorrow?
I don't think he was getting singled out, to be honest with you. I think he was playing away from his team. And if you are going to do that, you've got to put up damage stats. Before the last game, he had over 3k damage. The top player on Renegades had over 1.5. So he was doubling the amount of damage that's being done. So for Dimi, it's not so much. Sometimes a lot of pressure will be put on that player, right? You know, you're putting out damage, but those kills aren't getting cleaned up. you take the flak because you're the first to go down. His teammates need to be in position to clean up his damage. That's why it needs to be done sometimes. So it's that team synergy. They have to be working together for Dimi to be the most successful. And when he's successful, Arena Demons is successful. We saw that in the last map, and I think that was a difference.
Well, fair enough. Hey, it's been some great series. It looks like A and B are currently wrapped up, and I'm curious who actually moved forward from that Ghost X-Set matchup. I'm sure we'll be finding out in just a little bit, but great series. Another Game 5 on Sagaskin. You killed it as always. I know you're going to be hopping off. Rain Day and Girl are going to be hopping on. We're going to be starting Group C and D, and what a better way to get it started than our first series, and that is going to be Oxygen versus CLG. One you definitely don't want to miss out on, and let us know in chat, who do you think is going to move forward in Group C and D? We'll find out after the break.